Brendan Payne with Century 21, and today I wanted to talk with you about a couple of differences. If you're getting ready to list your property because it's come off the market and failed to sell the first time, or you're listing it for the first time and you want to make sure that you get it with the right group, then a couple of things to think of when you're considering, do you hire a more experienced, higher volume team versus just hiring an individual agent, and what are those differences? The first one we need to talk about is the ability to reinvest on your behalf. So if you think about a single agent that's doing, maybe 15, 20 deals, that's really good for an individual agent in our market. The average agent's doing about 5 to 8 transactions. So if you're doing 20 to 25, then you are double what the average agent's doing in the market. The challenge with that is if you look at what's left over after they pay their company split and some of their fees and their taxes and everything else, there's usually not a lot left over to reinvest in systems that are going to increase their the exposure they can create for their listings. They're really just kind of working along and keeping the machine going, but there's really not a lot left to grow their business. If you're getting to the point where you're doing 100, 150, 200 transactions, you couldn't get to that level unless you reinvested at some point, which means that you had to get your systems in place in order to get to that level. You had to reinvest in your clients to be able to get that many properties sold at some point, which allowed you to grow. Number 2 is you have to make the decision between, is the higher volume and the more experienced team that's doing more transactions, are they making their investments, their marketing dollar investments in things that are going to help you, or are they making their marketing dollar investments in things that are going to help them and their brand? I'll give you an example. If you are considering an agent that is, or a team that most of their marketing is about them, their face, their picture, their brand, their slogan, all over in public places, so the magazines, the park benches, the billboards and things like that, those marketing dollars have one design. Those marketing dollars are designed to bring them more business, meaning more listings. The challenge with that is that's not doing anything to market your property. If your goal is to be able to sell it for the most amount of money in the most reasonable amount of time, then you want your marketing dollars spent on systems and tools that a lot of times aren't quite as exciting as billboards or wrapped cars and buses, but they're more effective because they're behind the scenes. What are they doing in terms of building websites to create funnels for those buyer leads? How are they tracking them? Do they have people and staff that are calling through those buyer leads to make sure that they don't lose them to another company and we can bring the buyer to your listing? Those types of things are what really is important when you're actually talking about investing in marketing for the property. Number 3 is you have to understand that the experience level of the agent or the group of agents that's on a high volume or a very experienced team, the gap that's created in that experience between how many transactions they're doing versus an individual agent. Now, everybody had to get a start at some point. When I started, I had never sold real estate. I started from zero and had to build the business. So it's not a bad thing. It's just in this market, you want to really be able to take advantage of getting the most out of your marketing dollar and your investment. And let's face it, your investment is the commission you're paying. So if you can hire a team of agents who maybe has several thousand transactions between all of them and take advantage of that group of knowledge, that base of knowledge, that base of experiences to keep you from any of the pitfalls that happen in a real estate transaction, if you can hire that team at the same price that it costs to hire maybe an individual agent that has a total of 25 or 30 or 40 transactions over their first 3 or 4 years in business, then look at the difference. Because the commission's what you pay, and the commission's the investment. You can invest the same amount but get these results and this experience, or invest it over here. Now, you'll have to decide based on what your goal is for the property, what the best fit is for you. But those 3 critical areas are really, really important when deciding whether or not to hire a more experienced team that a specialist or that individual agent or small group that maybe is just getting started in this business. So if I can answer any other questions or provide any more insight in the process of selling in this market, how do you get the most out of your property, I'd love to talk with you. Thanks a lot.